Well, kia ora anō, welcome back. Nice to have you with us on Tech Week TV on Tuesday, I think it is. Yes, good. We've had a fantastic session already. We're talking about tech leaders, tech companies, tech culture, and thinking about the global stage. And we've got a few more sessions this afternoon too, so please do keep tuning in and really engage with it. We've had some great stuff today. We talked about computer gaming. Amazing. We just had that MedTech session, which was awesome. We talked earlier about how to get a job in a startup, which is pretty cool. My next guest might be interested in that. He's always looking for work. Because my next guest actually comes from the people behind Tech Week. Here are you wonder who puts on Tech Week every year. Well, we've got here Graeme Muller from New Zealand Tech, NZTech, the Tech Association. Now, if I had done a good job and had done my homework, I would have downloaded his profile. But instead, me and him got talking. And so I'm just going to tell you what I know about Graeme, and it might not be the official CV, but it's pretty good. He's an Olympic wrestler. He holds the world record in hot dog eating competitions. He had a promising career as a musician, but he gave it all up to go and work in the technology sector, of course, because he's dedicated. And he's been at NZTech for, I reckon, about 6 years now?
8.
8 years. Oh my gosh, 8 years. We'll talk about that. 8 years. When I first met him, he had a full head of hair, so did I.
Afro.
This is what it'll do to you, an afro. But he's now, and has been for many years, the CEO of NZTech through a really important period of its life, which I'm sure we'll talk about as well. This period where the technology sector has grown, but so too has the industry organisation that underpins it. Graeme comes to us as the CEO of the organisation that sees tomorrow first and has helped put on Tech Week. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I haven't got any questions. I thought we'd just chat.
Oh, we do. We're good at chatting.
We're good at chatting, I know. I like how you've come in theme with the backdrop actually, Graeme. That's attention to detail right there.
I was going to wear my See Tomorrow First t-shirt, but
yeah, you're probably wearing it.
Blend in.
Yeah, you would blend into the background here. Actually, we had some of your team here earlier talking about the tech story, which was a great discussion about how See Tomorrow First is our kind of global brand for the tech sector. But Tech Week was tell us about the origins of Tech Week. How did we come to be here?
Yeah, well, I guess it should start with the origins of NZTech first, because Tech Week is one of our machines, really. And so NZTech is a not-for-profit. It's a membership association of tech associations. And we were really put together about 12 years ago now to try and create a really strong voice for the tech ecosystem in New Zealand, about how great that ecosystem is, how fast it's growing, but also how it can actually help with equity and sustainability and those sorts of things. And so one of the ways we needed to try and improve people's thinking around tech was like, how do we raise its awareness? How do we get that conversation going in the general public? So back in 2012, popped up the first Tech Week in partnership with the High Tech Awards. And we dropped a few events in around the awards, which went really well. But then back in 2016, we were running the awards in Auckland, and ATID, Auckland Unlimited, really could see the value in having a really strong ecosystem, so really boosted it. And then the next year, working closely with some government partners and industry partners, we boosted it nationally. And so for about the last 5 or 6 years now, it's been a national festival, and it's about trying to raise the awareness of technology right across the population, inspire people to get more involved, increase the capability, give people a chance to feel and touch, and showcase those really good tech stories we've got going across the country. Nice. So really boost New Zealand's sense of tech.
Yeah. Do you think it's working well?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's got a bit of a life of its own now. We get somewhere around about 50,000 people attend events across the week.
Jeepers, really?
I should know the exact number, but there's upward of over 300, close to 400 events in 28 different towns. And they range from things happening in Marae just to raise people's awareness and local whānau to get together and play with things or meet their local tech entrepreneurs, through to things like we had recently an expo with lots of cool tech from tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean, I'm this week quite busy. I'm sure you're really busy.
Yeah.
Get called into all these events. I'm going down to New Plymouth,
nice.
Like on Thursday for an event down there. There's just all around the country that people go, right, there's a thing we can use that's a focal point for our work. But like you said, this is just one of your vehicles. So NZTech, the Industry Association, you've got roles of promoting the industry, connecting people together, building capability with the industry. Tell us a bit about the average sort of week in a life of someone who works in the tech sector industry association.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're right, because our purpose is a more equitable, sustainable and prosperous New Zealand underpinned by good tech, right? That gets us up in the morning, is to use tech for good and to raise that awareness. So we see the opportunity of trying to create pathways for people and get more Kiwis wanting to learn how to do tech jobs, because that's going to boost our economy, but also give lots of high-paying jobs to right across the country. So that really gets you up in the morning, and being involved in things like getting policy work, getting technology into the school curricula, or helping develop pilots with local iwi to get kids from kura into training programs and into tech jobs, or those things are really cool.
That's cool. It's transformational stuff.
Yeah, and then there's the whole tech ecosystem itself. The companies, they're so busy trying to grow, and they have common problems like finding skills or getting off overseas. So creating opportunities for them to get together and work together. We run about 120 membership events through the year, 6 conferences as well as Tech Week as well on top of that. So lots of opportunities to connect. And then, of course, government is a big user of tech, creates lots of policies. So we spend a fair bit of time partnering with different agencies, bringing cutting-edge thinkers in to help them, look at what the future might look like and set the rules in a way that help grow the tech ecosystem and those jobs.
Have you found that last bit, the government interaction bit, and I just for probity here, I work for the government, and I have a lot to do, and I'm here to help, but I have a lot to do with you in particular, but the tech sector, and I think that the relationship between government and industry in the tech sector is probably one of the best of any sectors that I see, because it's a very positive thing. We were saying this earlier, it's very positive. There's lots of growth, there's lots of really interesting stuff, but there's challenges and the tech itself is changing so quickly. We've really got to be both on our game.
Yeah.
Do you think though that we're seeing this really good relationship between government and industry?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of reasons for that, but it is in a good place. There is the way that the sectors come together, and it's operating well.
Yep.
So it needs to operate well, and realise that there's no one ring to rule them all type thing.
Yeah.
It's actually tech is so fast moving that you actually have to have a nimble sort of environment. So there are
lots. You as the sort of Sauron of technology in New Zealand, but okay, if you don't want to be that, that's fine.
Don't want to be that that element, but and through that sort of engagement, I think one of the things NZTech's done as well is it's not lobbying for tech because tech's going to get going and do well.
Yeah.
It's advocating for a better New Zealand and the role that tech can play, and it just changes it.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of agencies that there are folks that are interested in actually engaging with what's coming through so that we can get the policy in place fast enough. And there are challenges because technologies move so fast that normal government processes can't keep up. But I think things like the industry transformation plan and some of these projects that we're working on give us that environment where we kind of built trust.
Yeah.
And you're right, tech's cool and sexy. Even the tough challenges we have to face are still quite interesting.
That's right.
Like, is AI going to go bad? Well, hopefully it doesn't, but it's still quite interesting to work on that together.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that, and I'm glad you did, because I've had this sitting there for the entire afternoon, and no one's looked at it. But this is the industry transformation plan. So, and it was released last night, and I've spent the entire evening reading it. So, on page 18, subsection 4, what does it mean when it says? No, I won't ask you the detailed question, but tell us a little bit about this, the journey towards the industry transformation plan that you've been on together.
So that's it's a government document, government policy, and what the current government did is it decided to take a sort of industry development focus in its economic strategy and select certain industries and realise that they have different nuances. Digital technology as an industry was one of the areas of focus, and so over the past couple of years, partnering with key government agencies and industry players, getting feedback from around the country on what could help the sector grow, what's holding it back, and how do we really make a step change? And it'll keep going. Tech's going to keep going. It's going to go well. It's going to continue to grow exports. We've seen that historically. But if we were to work collectively together and the government was going to change any policies or invest in any areas, where's it going to get that step change? And that's what this provides, is a lot of feedback from right across the tech ecosystem, the education, the companies, the exporters, the local companies, agencies, into where those areas are. And it creates a nice framework so that we can focus on a shared vision, great job creator, great export revenue creator, great productivity generator. Those are the big things that can come out of this.
Yeah.
And then the jobs, for example, some of the research we've done is we've gone, if we can improve the diversity of the tech ecosystem. So through the research, we've found that the diversity is not very good. Lots of jobs being created, a small number, lower than demographic proportion of women, Māori and Pacific are engaging in the sector. But if we could change that over time, and over the 20-year sort of long period that this has,
Yep.
if by 2040 target we could get it more closer to the demographic mix of the population, the demographic mix of the sector, you're creating 93,000 new jobs for Māori and 48,000 new jobs for Pacifica people with an average income of $100,000 a year.
I didn't know that. That's
So,
big
so
number.
from a society perspective, you imagine the impact that those new jobs,
Yeah.
creating new entrepreneurs, new companies, lifting families into new exciting spaces.
And doing it in a way that's also sustainable. This is a part of
Yeah.
the economy that doesn't have, and no disrespect to other parts of the economy, but it doesn't quite have the environmental downside that growing, tourism might, for example, or the agriculture sector.
Exactly, and also favours a broad range of personalities and people.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a bit of a kind of a preconceived idea that the only roles are software engineers, or you've got to do like 5 years of maths and a science degree and a tech degree and all this kind of stuff. But man, there's so many different roles. I was just chatting to some media yesterday about all the roles that we're seeing coming out, and there are things like robotic placement engineers and drone pilots and community managers and game artists. And, you name it, these are roles that weren't around for 5 years ago, and they keep being generated. So if you're creative, or if you like people, or you're a bit more quiet and you want to look at detail or processes, there's kind of a role for everyone. Artistic.
And neurodiverse people fit in beautifully. And as you say, and the talent across New Zealand is very evenly split. We've got talented people everywhere. We just need to make sure they've got the pathways into tech. In this industry transformation plan, there are 4 big areas: growing export success, and we've talked a bit today about that actually with some of the companies talking about growing. Storypark just talked about growing into Canada. Telling our tech story. We had a great session earlier today on the See Tomorrow First campaign, which is about telling our story to the world, but also to New Zealand. Enhancing the skills and talent pipeline, which is a big part of what you're talking about, and particularly enriching Māori inclusion and enterprise in the sector. And the whole idea of that is that there's sort of a framework that projects can fit into then that we work on together. Yeah,
exactly. These are the big priority areas. There are also some foundational supporting areas like government procurement, the role that the enormous amount of money government spends on technology.
And that's not just buying Xboxes and PlayStations.
Yes, it's like cool phones and
health systems and border control mechanisms.
And like the 80,000 odd IT staff they've got across all of government, and how they can also support with generation of pathways for people as well. That's really foundational, and capital's another one. But those big ones, they're the real transformational ones. If we can really boost those exports, if we can boost the local confidence and understanding of the sector, and then the international perspective. If we can lift more diversity into the sector as we go, those are the things that are really going to transform the tech sector and make it, the biggest exporter, not just the second biggest exporter in New Zealand.
It's a real bugbear you guys have got in the tech sector, isn't it? They always bring this up. Are you the biggest? No, it's still agriculture. Right. Anyway, I wonder, it's going to happen.
Work to do.
The trajectories are definitely, on a different rate.
It's always nice to be competitive, I think. And I mean, even if agri keeps a little bit ahead of us, right? And maybe we just get first for 1 year and they come back again. But that's you've got 2 strong parts of your economy. Then you're not just resting on one.
That's right. We've got at least a 2-legged, if not a 3-legged, still with tourism coming back again. But your point though that you made earlier is that technology underpins everything. It's not a technology does not just mean, although we did talk earlier about computer gaming and stuff, but you've got agri-tech, you've got fintech, which underpins the financial system. So it's huge.
That's the beauty of this transformation plan as well. So whilst there's a big focus on growing SaaS and gaming and intellectual IP packaging and selling overseas, basically, growing our own businesses, there's massive spin-offs because a lot of those products, SaaS products, could be a medtech product, help our health sector, an agri-tech product, and help make the productivity of our farmers even better in the world. And there's all the sectors, better flow of traffic, better construction, safer world, safer environments. So you're right, it's an enabler. And so you get this halo effect. Countries that have a very powerful, strong tech sector also have great uptake of technology.
Yeah.
And you get the benefit of that, more productivity. It's an area where you can do better in New Zealand. And so as we connect the growth of some of these products and services, and we have a country that's proud of them, we'll get better at consuming our own rather than buying them from somewhere else.
That's right, yeah. Interesting on that productivity point, actually. We were talking earlier with Ivan from Media Design School, who's talking about gaming, and the New Zealand gaming system, software part of the ecosystem is very, very productive compared to other international markets. He said there are actually more people working in gaming in Australia, but we actually earn more export revenue and revenue in total from it. So our productivity is very high.
Yeah.
But it's a stubborn challenge for us. Productivity in general across New Zealand's economy is low, and tech can make a big difference.
Yeah.
So this is an important and a big bit of work, but it's not all your work.
No.
Like you mentioned earlier, you've got events, you've got member connections, you've got advocacy work you do. If we talk a little bit about where you would like to see, the influence of your organisation, what's your dream? Where do you really hope that you can have more impact?
Yeah, right across the board, really. What gets me up in the morning is my young daughter, and I think about what the sort of world I'd like her to live in. And, when she finishes school, it'll be kind of 2030 or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Just think about how much technology has changed each decade. We kind of can't even grasp what it's going to be like.
No.
But at a values and a principle level, I would like, and the work that we try and focus on, is creating an environment where all New Zealanders have got really interesting jobs, and not just they're either in tech or they're enabled by tech, and they're confident in the use of that, getting around in their day-to-day life. As many as possible being creators on those platforms rather than just users of those platforms. So really a confident population, an education pathway where people go, tech's an important part of New Zealand. We're proud to be good at it. We've got the baseline skills to engage well with the global society.
Yep.
That kind of really nice environment. But at the same time, there's a lot of challenges that come with tech. You look at some of the concerns around emerging technologies like AI and sensors and privacy and identity and all these things.
Theft, all sorts.
Yeah, and so I'd love to see New Zealand, really enhance the strong position it has around things like transparency and trusted and that.
Yeah.
But in this digital world, we're seen as this little country that knocks it above its weight in terms of how we manage in an environment of artificial intelligence or automation and those sorts of things. So I think we can still do what we're doing, but how do we transition from this physical world and this great reputation we've had for hundreds of years to this digital world?
Yeah, and the things that are common, which is the values that sit underneath it, as you said, like trustworthiness is huge, innovation and our kind of curious nature is
and as we take on more automated support and more engagement with tech, that our values are embedded into those things.
Yeah.
So let's not just buy really cool AIs from overseas that are going to plug into our brains and tell us stuff we want.
Is that what you're doing? Is it
let's
working
make sure,
pretty well?
Let's make sure that we're like ChatGPT, for example. Let's make sure that that's kind of like the second wave of AI that we're experiencing. There's sort of the AI that supports social platforms and engagement.
Yep.
This is going to be another level.
Generative AI.
Generative AI. So let's make sure that as we're building products using these capabilities and tools, that they're Kiwi products and they have our values baked in.
And why not? It's a really good point. We've got some of the best AI companies, around. We've got,
and research. We've got world-leading research here as well.
Exactly. It's really imagine go back to your sort of image you painted of your daughter who's going to be graduating in 2030. Why wouldn't she be doing artificial intelligence in years 12 and 13 at school? I mean, sounds like it's only 5 years away, but boy, look what happened in the last few months.
Yeah, or if she cares about the environment and wants to become an environmental activist or scientist or something like that, she's capturing the power of digital technologies to enable her to do that better, faster, communicate it better, or research it better or deliver it better.
That's what we've got to do, is lay the groundwork for companies to be successful, people to have successful careers, a diversity of people to be able to get into the sector and be included in the sector. That's all the kind of the stuff that, getting out there and it's not always the Tech Weeks. I mean, Tech Week's awesome. It's visible. Tech Week TV is huge. You know, it's lovely. But actually, it's the daily grind of convincing a policy analyst to put this particular thing in, or working with a minister to make this particular tweak to their manifesto, whatever it might be. We've got to grind away at it to get it done.
Yeah, I drift around and do these things, and it might look like the job's easy, but
It's your job, mate.
we do spend a lot of time having those deep conversations and comparing why it might be as important, if not more important, to include technology in the curricula over and above learning important things like New Zealand's history, and these are, there's a quid pro quo to everything, so for us it's working out how to make it an and, not an or.
Yeah.
So digital is, the nice thing about it is once people get their head around it, they can go, actually, like, we can weave it into the curricula because it actually can support social studies, it can support environmental studies, it can support maths. Yeah. So our challenge is to get everyone's head around the fact that it's not just a thing, it's an or. It's actually it's like electricity.
Nice.
You know, everyone wants a bit of it, but you don't really need to know where the dam's built or how it's constructed. But you really like it when the switch goes on.
That's right. And put a bloody great data center right next to that dam, and host your cloud technology here.
Yeah.
Nice work, Graeme.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's not just you, but your entire team. You do a fantastic job.
Yeah, just a call out on that. Actually, there are 47 people in the NZTech team. Some of them here today, across events and government work and supporting all the communities and communications and marketing and things like that. And that team is just, they get up in the morning, and what keeps them going as well is the fact that we're doing something good. We're trying to make New Zealand better for the future.
That's right. Beautiful way to end it. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us on Tech Week TV. We're going to take another short break and then we'll be back, and we're talking again about digital health, but from a different point of view. So stick with us and we'll see you in a minute. Cheers.